Next news. Breaking news from the White House.
Washington just got hit with a political thunderbolt. President Donald Trump is now calling for Chuck Schumer to resign after the Senate Democrat leader blasted ICE and Border Patrol from the Senate floor. Let that sink in. While brave federal officers are risking everything to secure this country, Schumer chose to insult them in public. President Trump didn't shrug it off. He drew a line in the sand. This is no longer a D.C. spat. This is a test of whether America stands with the men and women defending our border or with the politicians tearing them down. What Trump said next changes everything. Now, this matters to every family watching because border security is not some abstract cable news game. It affects crime, fentanyl, trafficking, public safety, wages, and whether the law still actually means anything in the United States of America. When the top Senate Democrat says nobody respects Border Patrol and ICE, he's not just attacking agencies, he's attacking the Americans who put on those uniforms, who leave their homes and confront cartel violence, smugglers, and dangerous illegal aliens so your town doesn't have to pay the price. Now, socially, this sends a very rotten message. That elite politicians can smear law enforcement while expecting rank-and-file officers to keep doing the hardest jobs in government. Politically, it exposes today's Democrat Party as fully captured by the radical open borders crowd. President Trump understands that if leaders in Washington undermine the front line, they weaken the country itself. And that's why his response hits so hard. He's making clear that disrespect for border agents is disqualifying, and millions of Americans agree with him. And while we're talking about backing the people who fight every day for this country, I'm going to share something very personal about fighting for your own health as well. You see, for years, my wife battled chronic pain and anxiety from her diagnosis, endless doctor visits, treatments that didn't help. Watching her struggle daily, it broke my heart. And then Jonathan Otto introduced red light therapy to our family. Her pain vanished, anxiety lifted, she's sleeping soundly, full of energy and life again. My recovery and vitality? Better than guys half my age. Truly life-changing for us. It's backed by NASA research, FDA-cleared technology, and studies show rapid pain relief, better sleep, improved circulation, and faster recovery. If you're tired of feeling worn down, then this is worth a very serious look. Keep an eye open for this weekend. There's an exclusive interview with Jonathan Otto you do not want to miss. But go to myredlight.com right now. Use NNN25 for 25% off individual items or NNN30 for 30% off bundles. Your body will thank you. Let's get back to the Democrat meltdown that sparked President Trump's demand heard all across Washington. But first, I'm going to tell you the part the corporate media will try to blur. Schumer didn't merely debate policy. He singled out Border Patrol and ICE and declared that nobody respects them. That's the spark that set this off. Trump then doubled down publicly and turned this into a simple moral choice. Do you stand with federal agents enforcing America's laws, or do you stand with the political class that sneers at them to win points with the activist left? See, that's the real fight here. President Trump calls for Senator Chuck Schumer to resign. That's the big headline today. Trump opens the door with a clear demand he should resign. Gunter Eagleman posts, Trump calls for Schumer's resignation, officially calling for Schumer to resign after the Senate Minority Leader openly disparaged and attacked ICE and CPP, the brave Americans risking their lives to secure our border and deport criminals. Schumer's betrayal of law enforcement and our nation's security is unforgivable. Here's the post. Crying Chuck Schumer should resign over this. He won't be missed. President Donald J. Trump. The president, quote, tweeting on Truth Social, I guess, what do you call that on Truth Social? Quote, truthing? I don't know. It was a Border Patrol Union post. The National Border Patrol Council will not stay silent. We will defend our members when others attack them for nothing more than political expedience and personal gain. Extreme leftist advocate Chuck Schumer chose to attack and undermine Border Patrol agents and ICE officers, disrespecting the very people who risk their lives to protect this country. Let's be clear, the problem isn't agents on the line. It's politicians like Schumer who tear them down to appease the extreme and unhinged maniacs who hate law and order. Border Patrol agents don't make the laws, they enforce them. and they do it every day under dangerous, difficult conditions. Elected politicians in Congress like Chuck Schumer make the very laws they criticize. These are the same agents who respond where the country needs them most, deploying to natural disasters like hurricanes, floods, wildfires, and assisting law enforcement at the local, state, and federal levels in tracking down and capturing some of the most dangerous criminals in the country, including escaped fugitives. When Americans are in danger, Border Patrol agents respond and serve in any capacity. We stand with and support our agents. We support all law enforcement, and we will not tolerate anyone who disrespects our wonderful men and women protecting America. Posted April 23rd, 1:43 p.m. by the Border Patrol Union. President Trump calling for the resignation. That's the charge in plain terms. Schumer went after the agents defending this country. Reverend Jordan Wells shows how Trump doubled down and ties Schumer's rhetoric to the Democrats' open border agenda. Trump going nuclear. Listen.
Just think about it. Chuck Schumer stood on the Senate floor and said nobody respects the Border Patrol or ICE. Just think about this. ICE doesn't make the laws, nor does the Border Patrol. The Congress makes the laws. These are people that are hardworking Americans that signed up to serve their country. But this is what I'm talking about. The Democrats his biggest fear, you know what Schumer's biggest fear is? He wants to stay the majority leader. He's 100 years old and he's scared to death of AOC. And he is trying to be as radical as he can, because when he was trying to be more moderate, they were to AOC. They showed a poll to show that AOC would beat him if she ran against him as Senate. So he's trying to be as radical as he can to appeal to the far left that now controls the Democratic Party. Because first of all, if you're attacking our borders and nobody respects them, the reason a lot of people don't respect our border and our ICE is because of the Democratic Party. Because the same way they defund, they walk through our cities and they demoralize our police officers, is the same way they're doing with the ICE and the Border Patrol. If you demonize Border Patrol, what are you basically saying is that we don't need a border? That is literally the Democrats calling for mass amnesty and open borders, no borders at all. That's not a moderate position. That's not a normal position. That's an insane position. Because if you don't have a border in your country, you don't have a country. If criminals and cartel members can run freely into your nation, because it's the Border Patrol that stops those people from coming into your country. It's the Border Patrol that stops drug traffickers and all these things. It's ICE that gets out these illegal immigrant criminals that are raping and pillaging our communities. But the Democrats don't care about that, because they will do anything for power. They want complete anarchy. They are Marxists, and they're willing to do anything to destroy our country. The Democrats are enemies to the American people. They've been funding racism through the Southern Party Law Center, the scams, fraud and abuse in California and Minnesota. All of it. The whole Democratic Party is a fraudulent criminal organization that actually is all about putting criminals first and putting Americans last.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about backing law enforcement and exposing the left's war on the border. Nick Sortor brings the clip at the center of it all. Schumer on the Senate floor saying nobody respects the Border Patrol.
See even more clearly tonight where the Republicans are, not on the side of lowering costs, but on the side of masked agents occupying our streets. Where the heck are you? America is crying out for relief from high costs, and you're here adding $140 billion to an agency that to two groups, Border Patrol and ICE, that nobody respects in this country.
Nobody respects you, Chuck. Let's make ourselves very, very clear. That's why President Trump's calling for your resignation. I'm calling for your resignation. And I'm sure my viewers, you are calling for his resignation too. So Trump is not just defending two agencies, he's exposing the entire Democrat formula. They attack the people who enforce the law, then act shocked when Americans demand order. Schumer's words revealed exactly where the left is headed. To keep power, they demonize ICE, belittle Border Patrol, and feed the fantasy that national borders are somehow immoral. Trump shattered that script with one simple demand: resign. Why? Because if a Senate leader cannot respect the officers defending the Republic and the laws that are passed by the House and the Senate, then he's forfeited the moral authority to lead. This is bigger than Schumer. It's a choice between an America with borders, law, and courage, or an America run by weak elites terrified by their own radical base. Here's the bottom line. President Trump did what real leadership looks like. He stood up for ICE, stood up for Border Patrol, stood up for the idea that this nation still has a right to defend itself. Chuck Schumer picked the wrong side, and now the country can see it in plain English. If you attack the heroes protecting our border, do not expect silence from the America First movement. Now, I want to hear from you. Should Chuck Schumer resign, yes or no? Drop your answer in the comments right now and share this report everywhere, because you know the algorithm will not do us any favors. To bypass the platform's games and get direct alerts from me, text raw feed. That's the number on the screen. Text raw feed to 844-840-4963. And also check out the Next News merch shelf below this video and support independent America First reporting. Stay loud, stay proud, keep standing with the men and women who defend this country every single day.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
They don't want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.